Welcome to Panther Talk. Anish Shroff, Szoke, Eugene Robinson with you on this Monday. And as always, we start the show with the head coach of the Carolina Panthers, Dave Canales. Coach, a lot to unpack from Sunday, a lot of things that you like at the end of the game, maybe not so much at the beginning of the game, but I want to start with what you just talked about at the beginning of your press conferences. Injuries to Robert Hunt and Austin Corbett both going on IR. First, just from a leadership standpoint, what do those guys mean to the locker room?
Those guys are so important to our group. They've been studs. They've been very supportive of my messaging, of our messaging as a team, and they've echoed the things that we want to get done on a daily basis, how we want to practice, how we want to play football. They've been amazing. They've been out there working hard. Rob would play through stuff. He never missed practice. This is really the first significant injury he's had, so – in Austin, to get hurt last year and then to get hurt again this year, my heart just really hurts for Austin and his family and all the hard work it takes to get back to this point, compete and win a job. So we're definitely going to miss those guys, and fortunately we got Cade Mays, who we played a lot of football with last year, and Chandler Zavala, who spot played here and there last year but finished on a high note and had a really good offseason. And these guys are going to have an opportunity to show us what they can do.
Coach, how much does that change your play calling when you have to go ahead and that you got to substitute guys in?
It does not. Yeah, I think that's the confidence I have in this offense, this offensive line, is that I know that these guys are familiar with the schemes that we're doing, and I know I know how to play with Cade, and I expect Chandler to be able to step in and understand how we're trying to attack defenses.
Especially losing Robert's big, and with Austin, with his veteran leadership there, does it maybe more so even affect your depth is more impacted since you've got quality guys stepping up in that starting unit, but the backups now?
Absolutely, and that's the part where we have Brandon Walton, and we had Jared Kingston, who are here working with us, and then we're looking around the league to see who else there is, who there might be that can come in and help us. So that's where we do have to address some of the depth issues.
Coach, the way you guys finished on Sunday, almost completing what would have been the biggest comeback in franchise history, how do you parse that with the way the game started, where I think in hindsight you say, yeah, better start and maybe different result?
Yeah, I think it would have been a different game. It put us in a mode that we're comfortable playing in, throwing the ball, allowing Bryce to see different things, make adjustments, the guys to be able to attack with different pass concepts. While that's a lot of fun, and I enjoy looking at the coverages, troubleshooting things, finding this one, how can I mix this tempo play in there? It's very exciting. It's very fun. It's a tough place to be in, and we don't want to have to be playing that kind of ball, where they're playing umbrella defense and they're trying to mix up where they put the safeties at, But at the same time, that's what we had. Those are the cards we were dealt. We showed up here to finish a full game, so let's go finish the game. And I just love that about Bryce. I love that about our guys who just continue to work hard, work together, offense, defense, and special teams to get us the ball back, to get the onside kick, and give us a chance. So I love seeing that character show up in our group.
Coach, was there any thought of, in that last drive where you guys were trying to go ahead and score to win the game, was there any thought of moving Bryce out of the pocket, or what were they doing defensively that maybe would have kind of limited him, maybe keeping him in the pocket?
Yeah, that's a good strategy, Eugene. You bring up a good point. I like the concepts that we had. I've overthought that drive now for about the last, 12 or 13 hours, and just looking at that, just wanting to see, I could have called this here, I could have called that there. I called the plays we knew. I called the plays I know we could execute at a high level, full speed. That's always a good default, and we didn't execute, and we had a couple of penalties in there, and they try to give it to us back, kind of went back and forth there a little bit, but that's not a bad thought.
Yeah, that's a great point, because I think when you're on the outside looking in or you're watching from home, well, why didn't he call this? Why didn't he go to this? And you see it in practice, how much of that menu when you get into crunch time is, okay, these have to be the best plays.
Yeah, there's no magical call. It's what you have most time on task on, and I think that's life, right? I think you don't I don't think you make stuff up in your life. You know, if this thing works for you, this is what you're going to do. Now we learn. We grow. You know, we add things, and we practice it, and when we feel confident and say this thing is ready for prime time, then it becomes a part of who we are.
This is not a question specific to the game yesterday, more of a general question about when to go for 2 points. And there's always like a sheet about you mathematically, but in your mind, like as a head coach making that decision, like as far as time in the game versus the point differential, when do you have like a kind of by feel thing, or how do you decide with each situation if you're behind to when to go for 2 points?
We have all those metrics upstairs, so I'm just talking to George Lee throughout that time.
Coach, Tedo McMillan goes for 100 yards in his second game. He just seems to have a knack for making it look smooth, making it look easy. Did you see this kind of start coming from a guy like him, even though he was a top 10 pick and had all the accolades?
I was hopeful. He showed it in camp, and he showed it certainly in college, and that's the reason why we picked him as high as we did, because of all those attributes. It's the fundamentals of playing wide receiver. It's attacking the ball. It's having clean feet at the top. It's having a plan after you catch it. What am I going to do with this ball? And it doesn't happen by accident. This is a guy who does it every day in practice. And whether it's in routes versus air, he'll catch it and he'll make a move immediately. And he's teaching his body how to react and respond to where he catches it. What foot am I going to put down and set the DB up so I can break back the other way? Or am I going to run through this one? Do I have to shave it back down? He's playing the game. He's using his imagination in practice. The best players I've been around have an ability to take their minds to the game in practice. And he's just showing an ability to have that kind of maturity and work at it. It's from work. It's from hard work.
Coach, on the defense side of the ball, you guys were able to stop the run. What did you guys do last week that you've improved upon this week?
Yeah, we really emphasized tackling. And I think if you look at the Jags game, it came down to a couple of missed tackles. We had a couple TFLs that we weren't able to secure. There were some missed tackles on the second level that leaked out to explosive plays. But Ajero and I got together and we were like, hey, let's make sure we emphasize the different angles of tackling. He put together a beautiful tackling circuit and had the guys roll through it, all the positions, the whole defense, which is uncommon. Mostly you do your tackling drills by position, but I wanted this to be a full corporate decision. Guys, we need to commit to be better tacklers. Our tackling improved. Were we perfect? No. They have great players too. They did a great job getting their guys in space and making us miss a few times, but in general, it came down to tackling, and it was the attention to detail, is the way that they were conscientious about their fits and their communication throughout a week of practice, and I want to make sure that I give those guys love for being able to see the product of it show up on game day.
Talk about T-Mac a moment ago. Of course, we saw a lot of Bryson Tremaine in the preseason, but the reach back for that difficult reception he made, and then 4th and 16 gets 26 yards out of that. The confidence he seems to have with your coaching staff and with Bryce right now, how can you kind of tell us a little bit more about how he's performing as a young player with you guys?
Yeah, he's been so reliable. He studies and he arrives at the right time. He gets his depth and he gets to the void. He gets to the spot, and that really carries out through special teams as well. It's a guy that we can count on and a guy that has played really aggressively and has shown us that he'll come through for us.
Will Sanders see even more action? I thought he was a guy who just showed up and was kind of real rugged catching that ball for you.
He did a great job. I thought the way that he finished the second half of the game was brilliant, and I think in the first half he had some opportunities that he missed. And so I believe JT will emerge as one of our guys we can count on. And that's what we're expecting from him, and I think he expects that from himself as well.
Coach, I know it was a tough game for Excel. What's your message to Legette? We know he's got the potential and he's got the build. How does that get unlocked?
Keep grinding. There's no way around it. Just keep working. And he's wired the right way. I love XL. I got his back, and I'm going to keep pushing him to keep working, and good things will come because that's all that's been true for him. That's all that's been true for me is when you work hard and you do your job, you get better and better at it, and he'll continue to improve.
Did it seem like early in the game, like you guys were trying to get him involved, get him some touches early to maybe build some confidence?
Yep, I just wanted him to just get the ball in his hands, feel it, and try to give him a few ops. They didn't amount to much, but the opportunities presenting, if they were presented with the right looks, could get him out there in space and let him be big and fast like he is, And then for the rest of the game, I will say this: he played better. He played better in this game. The work that he put in last week showed up, the speed of play and all those things. He just didn't get the opportunities at times because the ball was going somewhere else, and that's what happens sometimes. whether it's us or any other team, a receiver will come out with 3 catches, 1 catch, a couple of targets. It happens around the league, and it happened for XL, and I just want to continue to encourage him. The work will pay off. The dividends are showing on game day. Now we just have to rely on making those opportunities when they come to you.
Coach, what is your message to the team when we always hear about playing fast, playing clean, and when some of that doesn't materialize, you overthink it a little bit. So what is your message to the team about playing fast?
Yeah, just looking at the progress, looking at the things that we emphasized last week and that we improved this week. Can we take the next step? Hey, there are a couple of other things showed up for us this week. Can we improve this thing? And to the point where you get to playing really good football and we're looking for new places to emphasize, and it's this forever evasive thing that you're chasing, and it's here one day and then it's over here another day. And I think that's my job as the head coach, is to stay in tune with that with our coaches, to say, what do we need to emphasize this week to continue to push urgency and focus on these areas.
Of course, finished last year with that great win against Atlanta. So home game, division game coming up here against the team that played Sunday night, beat the Vikings. Kind of some of your initial thoughts on taking on Atlanta coming up this week.
This is a fantastic group. They've added some young talent. They got 2 awesome runners. They got skill players playing on the outside, Drake London, Kyle Pitts, Darnell Mooney, a couple of players that can certainly make plays. And then on the defensive side, they added 2 rookie rushers, behind Leonard Floyd and Ebiketie. And, this is a group that really did a good job from a organizationally and the coaches to add some talent to this group. And so they look like they're playing hard for each other, so this is a great opportunity for us to play a division game against a really good team, and for us to show the improvement that we've made, and also to see this team and see who the Falcons are for 2025.
Yeah, home opener Sunday against the Falcons should be fun. Thank you, Dave.
All right, thanks, guys.
All right, Panthers head coach Dave Canales. You're listening to the Carolina Panthers Radio Network.